So Snowflake had a blockbuster IPO recently in what is said to be the biggest software IPO ever. When I say Snowflake, I don't mean the popular ice cream company here in London. I'm talking about the software company that offers cloud-based data storage solutions and analytics services. Warren Buffett's investment company Berkshire Hathaway made over $800 million in the IPO. The three founders of Snowflake all became billionaires. So I'm sitting here thinking, man, I want a piece of the action. Well, in this video, I will talk you through how I made just under £3,000 in literally 4 hours of trading during the IPO as a total beginner. I've never done trading before. I'm more of a long-term investor, but I recently decided to try my hand at trading to see how well I can do. Now, this video is not meant to be a bragging session. I'm not trying to sell you guys a course or anything like that, but I just wanted to share this with you guys because that's what this platform's all about. Sharing your highs and your lows so we can all learn from each other. I can't tell you just how much I've learned in the last 6 months just by making these YouTube videos and also from all the other awesome finance channels out there that I watch. So it's only fair that I also share my knowledge and experiences too. Okay, so here is the agenda for the video. So the first thing we're going to talk about, guys, are the trading rules I set myself to ensure I minimize risk as much as possible. I don't want to lose money, but it's inevitable you will when trading. So I want to ensure I minimize that loss as much as possible. The second thing we're going to talk about are the tactics and techniques I use for trading. I try to keep this part really simple because I'm a total beginner. So I'll talk you through the steps I take on a day I want to trade and how I go about making my trades. And then finally, we're going to do a full review of my trades. I'll show you all the trades, all the transactions that added up to the £3,000 profit. I'll be completely transparent by logging into my Trading212 account and showing you guys. That's just how I do it on this channel. So guys, if you like the sound of this video, then as always, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more personal finance and investing videos. I've been working in the banking and tech industry for some of the world's global companies for almost 10 years. And I'm now here trying to share what I know as well as continue to learn and improve myself. Okay, let's now get into the video. Now, as I mentioned before, I am no trading expert. I want to make that extremely clear. And to trade the markets and be successful at it is extremely difficult. And I actually wouldn't recommend it to anyone unless you are willing to put in the work and are willing to risk your money quite frequently. I personally invest the bulk of my money into index funds and long-term growth stocks and dividend stocks. I have links to videos like that for beginners down below. So check that out if you are new to investing. But if you guys want to hear more about my trading journey and in particular how I made just under £3,000 in 4 hours of trading, then continue watching. Right, so the first thing we want to talk about are the rules I've set myself for trading to ensure I don't end up losing a whole bunch of cash. So the first rule is set a target sell price, don't get greedy. It is really important to have a sell price in mind or a certain amount of profit you want to take per day. I set myself a target of £500 profit per day. So if I hit that, I'll just take the profits. Anything above that is just a bonus. I've been in a position before where I'm holding onto a stock for too long because I think I can squeeze just a bit more out of it and then the next minute it drops and I lose all my gains. So don't get too greedy, guys. Have a target in mind and stick to it. The second rule is implement stop losses. Don't get too emotional. So this is probably the hardest thing for me to do because I hate making a loss. I mean, who doesn't? But it's almost guaranteed to happen when trading. So to minimize the amount of loss, if a stock I buy goes down 10%, then I will sell. There's a couple of reasons for doing that. One, there may be an opportunity elsewhere to make your money back, so you don't want your money tied up for too long if you're not making a profit. The second thing is you have no idea if this stock is going further down. So you want to minimize the loss as much as possible and give yourself as much opportunity to make it back. Imagine you're trading with 10K. It's much harder to make back an 8K loss with only 2K left to play with, for example, than it is to make a 1K loss back with 9K to play with. So don't get too emotional. Implement stop losses. And finally, only trade stocks you know. So this is something I've learned over time, and for some reason I've never ever made money investing in companies I don't know about or I don't know enough about. I haven't even got lucky. It's been 100% fail every single time. So I'll only stick to companies I know, and so should you. Now let's move on to the tactics and techniques I use for trading. As I mentioned, I like to keep this part really simple, and as I said, I'm no trader, and experienced traders might watch this video and completely rip me apart. And I probably deserve it, guys. Just go at it. I probably deserve it. But I am a beginner, so just hear me out first. The first thing I do is research before the market opens for potential stocks to trade. So I just go through the CNBC website or the Bloomberg website. I even leave CNBC or Bloomberg channel on the TV running in the background. And what I'm looking for are companies who are releasing big news, because that gives me an indication of which way the company's share price is going to go, but also the fact that there will be some sort of big movement in that stock that day. For example, not long ago, Nvidia announced they were buying ARM, the UK-based chip maker, for a deal worth $40 billion, which was huge. It was huge news, which will cause some big movements in Nvidia's share price. Snowflake announcing an IPO is another one. So these two stocks were on my radar. And then all I do is I make a short list of these stocks, and that is step one complete. The next thing I do is I look at my shortlist and I analyze each stock's share price behavior the last few days to look for patterns and trends. In particular, I'm looking to identify support and resistance levels. So what does that exactly mean? Well, if you look at a share price movement on a particular day, then you will notice that it never goes up in a straight line and it never goes down in a straight line. It always goes up in this kind of zigzag form and goes down in a zigzag form too. These zigzags are essentially support and resistance levels. For example, if a stock opens at $200 and then goes to 208, then back down to 201, then up to 210, back down to 203, then to 27, etc., that creates the zigzag form. Now we can say with some confidence that the support level in this situation is $200 and the resistance level in this situation is $210, because every time it goes down to $200, it seems to bounce back. And every time it gets close to $210, it seems to bounce back down. So it's bouncing between these two ranges, these two price ranges. So that's what we call the support and resistance levels. Once we are comfortable with these patterns, we will make our move when the market opens. So when the market opens, I'll try to watch it for a while to see if these support and resistance levels start emerging. And if they are, we will make our move and buy near the support level, let's say $200, and sell near the resistance level, say around $210. Therefore making a profit. Now if you do that multiple times a day, then you can see the potential here. So you're probably asking yourself, what if it breaks the support level, i.e. it goes down to $195 or something like that? If that happens, then you've got to sit back and watch if a new support and resistance level forms. So what might happen is the share price now bounces between $190 and $200. So in that case, the new support level is $190 and the new resistance level is $200. This happened a few times during the IPO and I still managed to make money. So I'll show you those trades too so you know it's not BS. Okay, so now we know the 3 rules and the 3 trading steps I take. Now let me show you how I made around £3,000 from the Snowflake IPO. Let's do it. Okay guys, so here I am logged into my Trading212 account. So let's just start by going into the history section and show you the trades for that day. So I'll scroll all the way down. So here we are guys, so this is the beginning of the day, the trades for the beginning of the day. So if we just start from here, let's look at the total return. Total return is currently sitting at £2,110.55. Okay, so it's not £3,000 like I said, and the reason why is because I had to take some losses during that day in order to make this money back, right? So I'll show you guys here. So I sold Tesla early on that day, so at 6:02, not early on, but 6:02 p.m. And I sold it at a loss of 178 and 43 pence, 178 pounds and 43 pence loss. And the reason why I did that is because I saw much more opportunity in Snowflake. So what I did is immediately I bought Snowflake. If you see here, I bought Snowflake at exactly the same time, so 6:02, literally straight away, and I bought it at a price of $246.01. Okay, and then I sold it literally a minute later. So if you see 6:03, a minute later, I sold it at $253.95, which was crazy growth. As a result, I've made £320.13. Okay, so I completely covered that loss that I made from the earlier stock, and I made some profit too. Now, this is where it goes back to my rules that I set for myself. So firstly, set yourself a target price. I was happy making £320 off that trade. I could have held on and made more money if I held on, but if I show you the next trade, what happened immediately after that is that the share price dropped. So if you look here, I bought some more Snowflake here, literally at 6:05. So literally what, 2 minutes later at $249.99. So you guys have probably figured out, or you've probably noticed, there's a trend here, there's a pattern. And I noticed during this period that there was a support level at $245 and a resistance level at $255. So that was my range that I was going to try and trade in. So noticing that, that is why I sold the first trade quite early. So when it hit 253, so if I go back here, 253, and then immediately dropped, and it did drop. This is why I was able to buy more at 249. So again, the whole support and resistance levels, if you can, try and get to a position where you understand that pattern and you understand these support and the resistance levels forming, if you can get good at doing that, then you can make some serious money. Right. So what I also did, okay, just to show you guys, is I also sold Nvidia. So I had Nvidia stock earlier that day, and I just sold it at loss at £603 loss. Okay, so if you add that 603 plus the 170 or so pounds, so it's roughly around £800 loss. That's why my total return is not sitting at around 3,000, it's sitting at around 2,100. Okay, it's because of those losses, but overall I made good money. Okay, so after that, bought more Snowflake C245, so it bounced to 240, so it went down to the support level of 245, so I bought more at that price, and then I sold when it went up to 250. Okay, so I bought it at 250, and that was the range I was trying to, that's the support and resistance level I was trying to play, the 245 to 255. I might have sold a bit earlier in this case at 250, but I made £198. I just continued, so I bought more, okay, at 250. And I sold at 252, making another £100 profit. And I just did that all day long. So guys, what happened that day is that the resistance level broke a couple of times. When I first started saying that I was trading between 245 and 255, it actually broke 255 and went from 255 and trading to 265, okay? Then it even broke that and started trading from 265 to 275, okay? So there were 3 sessions in which I could potentially make as much trades as possible to make as much money as I possibly can. And I did. For each session, I was trading as much as I possibly can. And every time I was making a decent amount of profit, I was taking those profits. Now you're probably thinking, hang on Mo, why didn't you just hold your position from the beginning? So when you bought at around 245 and just held when it went all to 270, you could have made a ton of money that way, a lot more money probably. And that's absolutely true, I could have. But I don't know if someone from up above would have told me that. You have no idea if that's going to happen, okay? All you can do is take advantage of the opportunity that gets presented to itself. So when you're analyzing the graphs or the share price during the day, you have to take advantage at that time, at that point in time. So I was just taking as much advantage as I possibly can during the first session that I was involved in, okay, and trading as much as I can, then the next one and the next one. The last half an hour of trading during that day, the share price actually dropped from 270 or 272 or something like that all the way to under 240. I could have lost all my gains and made absolutely nothing that day. Right guys, let's go back onto here and I'll show you some more trades where I can actually illustrate how I was buying and selling between those different ranges. So let's have a look at this one where I bought at 252.39, then sold quite immediately at 254.43, so £177. Then I bought here. Okay, so here I bought at 261.49. So it broke that 255 resistant level that I was obviously monitoring. So it broke that. So I decided to get in because I started seeing a range between 255 and 265. Then I bought some more because it started dipping slightly to 259. So I averaged down here and then I sold eventually at 263. Okay, so I'm making a profit of 229 and 14 pence. Okay, so you can see that was the next level I was talking about, the next range in which I started to trade. So let me see, I bought here again at 258.98 and sold at 264, making £298 this time, so almost £300. Actually, I did make £300 of that trade because I did a partial sell. So this is another thing that I did, is when I started identifying or getting comfortable with these ranges, these different support and resistance levels, I started to automatically set some trades, so limit sells. So whenever it hits a certain price, just sell. And this is what you can see here. So when Trading212 app automatically fills an order, it doesn't always get it complete. So that's why you see some of these partial fill transactions coming up. So this was an automated one, and I made well over £300 in that trade. And there's another one there. And then I bought again at 263, sold at 265, only making £40 there. So what I've done here, guys, is I've pulled those transactions into a spreadsheet so we can have a closer look. So at the top here, you can see those losses that I took earlier on in the day. And I was happy to take those losses because I felt I could make it back, which I did. And if you look at the actual percentage loss, they're not huge, only 1.49% and 5.49%. So it's not exactly the minus 10%, which I mentioned earlier. But the reason why I did this is because I felt there was much more opportunity elsewhere and I didn't want my money tied up. I had like, put in £23,000, if you see here, into those trades, which was making me no money. So I'd rather just take the loss and try and make it back elsewhere. So yeah, if you look at the rest of the transactions, all in profit. throughout the whole day, and that sums up to around £2,892.61. So that was absolutely amazing. I was so buzzing when this was happening. It was a real thrill, and I loved every second of it. Now, another thing I want to just point out is the percentage returns. Now, they're not huge, and we've got 3% here, which is quite good. 0.9%, 0.67%. They're not massive, right? Only 1%, 2%. Not huge returns, okay? And the reason why I was happy to take those returns is because I'm trying to obviously get to £500 profit per day. Now, in order to get to that profit, I need to be investing. The amount of money that I need to invest has to be substantial because I'm only making small percentage returns. Now I'm happy to put in around £20,000. So as you can see here, only one time I went above the £20,000, and I went here 21,952. But apart from that, consistently I only invested up to £20,000. Now. And now I feel as if that's very realistic aim. Having £20,000 to make £500 per day, you only really need a 3% return, which I think is completely realistic. If I only had £1,000 to invest, it will be almost impossible to make £500 per day because I'd have to make a 50% return every single time, which is not realistic. So this is something you really do have to think about. How much are you willing to put up? How much are you willing to earn? You got to figure out that number. Is your aim £50 per day? Is it £100 per day? You've got to have that target. Start small. If you don't have much money to invest, start small and try and build yourself up. For me, this is 20 grand to invest is good enough money for me to play with and to earn a decent supplementary income. And it's working it worked pretty well this time around. What I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to do some sort of monthly update to just show you how my trading is going, because that's another important aspect of this. I want to measure myself every single month to see if I'm actually going to continue to make profit. This is one good day, but the whole month I could just make losses the whole time. So I just want to keep track of that, and I'll report back to you guys just to see how it's going. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.